Since the Super NES debut of Street Fighter II, I have been what you might call a fighting game fanatic. Unfortunately, I only have one little problem. I suck at fighting games. To remedy this, I'll be playing through various fighters from throughout the years in an effort to get good. Join me, won't you, as I play through the good, the bad, and the pit fighter. Welcome to Picking Fights. To start things off, I'm taking on the 1994 Neo Geo arcade fighter, The Art of Fighting 2. In this game's demonstration mode, we're introduced to the I can't believe they're not Ryu and Ken of this game, Ryo and Robert. The two are trying to take down the crime boss, Mr. Big. Now, most of the other characters that fill out the roster are Mr. Big's goons. The plot feels a little Double Dragon-y, but in a typical one-on-one fighting game fashion, you can pretty much ignore it. To start things off, I selected Ryo. I kind of remember him from the King of Fighters games, and remembered that, surprise surprise, he plays a lot like Ken or Ryu from Street Fighter. I decided to go ahead and get the mirror match out of the way and selected Ryo as my opponent. When the fight started, I noticed the controls were a little bit on the clunky side. Playing as Ryo here reminded me less of Street Fighter II and more of the original Street Fighter. And not even the arcade version of the original Street Fighter. I'm referring to the MS-DOS version. Your special moves seem to work about maybe 75% of the time. And to make matters worse, they're tied to a rage meter that goes down every time you use one. Once you run out of your rage, that's it. Your specials are now practically useless. Taking that into consideration, I tried playing without relying too much on the special moves, something I'm normally very guilty of. Unfortunately, no dice there either. Trying to use the combo-heavy fighting style of the Tekken games proved useless, as the cheap AI here only lets you get off about maybe 2 hits at a time. It didn't take long for the Ryu cosplaying Ryo to make short work of me. Well, after that embarrassing failure, I thought I'd try another character. I settled on King, because I also recognize her from the King of Fighters. Maybe she'll give me the boost I need to... At this point, I'm starting to get worried. Have my efforts been in vain? Am I just doomed to be forever terrible at fighting games? My resolve hardened as I picked my next character, Kisaragi, the token ninja of this fighting game. However, that resolve quickly shattered as I noticed something I overlooked during the first 2 fights. This horse. Just look at it. That is not a normal-sized horse. What the hell has Ryo been feeding this thing? And why does it seem to laugh every time he knocks me down? At this point, Ryo destroys the token ninja. Now, I have a new goal in mind. I no longer care about playing through the rest of this game. I just have to beat this stage. I managed to win my first round playing as John, or as I like to call him, the dude with the sunglasses. John seems to be a no-nonsense fighter. His specials are irrelevant as I go back to my Tekken strategy of beating Ryo down with basic moves. Now, kicking the opponent seems to work best here, as kicks have more reach and they can knock the computer out of some of their more cheap tactics. Unfortunately, round 2 does not go as well, and by round 3, I'm back to square one. I get another round win with Mickey, the token boxer of the game, and I'm beginning to feel a little better about myself. Next up, I select Lee, the clawed hemorrhoid curing warrior. Seriously, that part's in the guy's bio. Lee has a spinning claw move that works pretty well, even if you don't have any rage left, so naturally, I spam the hell out of it. I managed to win 1 round, and get close to winning my second, but that doesn't seem to be in the cards for poor Lee. After a near win with Lee, I try out the characters Takuma and Yuri, who both get pounded by Ryo without a single victory between either of them. At this point, I realize my best bet is probably to give Lee another try. But I haven't gone through all the characters yet, so this time I select Robert, the better dressed kin to Ryo's Ryu. He plays very similarly to Ryo, which is to say, goddamn Ryu and Ken, but I'm having much better luck with the ponytail guy here. This time Ryo actually wins the first round, but I'm able to come back with Robert after getting the feel for him a bit. Like Lee, he has a special kick attack that doesn't rely too much on the rage meter. Between that and the range of his normal kicks, I'm finally able to move on from Ryo and his terrifying horse. Yeah, take that, you muzzle face. Wait, what? With Ryo finally vanquished, I can move on to stage 2. This next stage belongs to the teenager Yuri, who fights in a gym surrounded by buff dudes working out. Try not to think about it too much. Seriously, where are this girl's parents? Now, I've actually played as Yuri at this point. She was easily taken down by Ryo, so I can't imagine she'll be that much of a threat. Huh. Well, I did beat Ryo, so I suppose that's mission accomplished. Maybe in the next fighting game I try, I can make it past stage 2. All in all, Art of Fighting 2 feels like Street Fighter without any of the heart. The characters are overly generic, or flat out rip-offs. There's no combo system at all, especially with the cheap AI interrupting most of your attacks. The rage system is interesting, and I could see it adding a lot of strategy to a better fighting game, but it just does not work here. One high note of the game is that as a character loses health, their face gets more banged up. Now this is something I'm surprised we don't see more of, even in modern fighting games. Another interesting thing is the camera in the game that zooms out as your fighter moves farther away from your opponent. This might explain the odd proportions of the backgrounds, but it does not make that damned horse any less unsettling. Art of Fighting 2 was created by SNK. You can try it out for yourself via the Humble Store or the original Wii's Virtual Console service. Do you have a fighting game you'd like to see me tackle? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, pleasant dreams.